Hey guys, welcome to the Nate Whitson podcast. So glad that you're here. We're doing a series about five habits that can destroy and five habits that can build up. And we're talking about these core areas of our lives, being a father, a husband, a follower of Jesus, and a man. And we're going to look at the flip side of both of those things throughout a series of podcasts, starting at episode 144. If you want to go back and catch up for that, you can do that there. We look at in 144 the idea of like ideas that destroy your ability to be the dad that you want to be. In episode 145, we talk about five habits that you can actually build into your life to be that dad that you want to be. In today's episode 146, we're talking about five habits that can destroy your marriage. And so if you're married or if you're planning to be married, these are things that I hope that you'll think through, and certainly doesn't cover the whole gamut, but they're five habits, five things that you can guard against that can destroy your marriage. And then in episode 147, we'll look at five things that you can think about that can help build up your marriage, okay? But I want to start here with this idea. So I go outside not too long ago, and it's cold here in Michigan, and it's wintertime. And in the winter in particular, it seems like all of the vehicles I have that are old, they struggle to keep air in the tires. And so one of my daughters, she was driving this old 1998 Pontiac that we have. And she's like, "Hey, Dad, will you look at these tires?" And I go out and I look at it, and the back tires, they're low. I could tell that there's certainly a slow leak in there. But it didn't look like it was like problem necessarily. And so I just said, you know what? It looks like it's a little low. I know you're in a hurry. Go ahead. Go wherever you need to go here. Do what you need to do. But let's make sure that we come back to this, because if we don't, I know it can spell trouble for us. The tire at this moment isn't flat. I didn't think that it was dangerous. It was just a little soft. It was just like, you know what, this is something that we can deal with later. It wasn't an imminent issue from what I could see. But one of the things that I know is that, and you probably know where this story is going, is that if you don't address the slow leak, you will pay for it later. It will catch up with you later. It doesn't just fix itself. So fast forward in the story, this was maybe a few days or a week later. I'm at work and my daughter calls me, same daughter, and she's on FaceTime or something and says, "Hey, Dad, I'm on the highway. Everything's fine. I pulled off to the side, but it's like both of my tires, the back tires that were low, that were leaking, like totally exploded. I'm stranded. I'm on the side of the highway. Can you come get me?" Now, in that story, true story, this slow leak was not a problem in the moment a week before, but it was something that wasn't going to fix itself. And we knew that if we didn't address that problem, the real problem, the root problem, that eventually we would have bigger problems. And indeed we did. In fact, in that crazy story, I had to go, I switched vehicles with her, and on the highway, cars are going 80 miles an hour past us. It's super dangerous. It's getting dark at this point, and I just tell her, "Look, I'm just going to put the hazards on. I'm going to drive this into the next town up the road a couple miles. I'm going to stay off on the side. You get home safe. I'll let you know if I need help." And it was just this huge ordeal. I eventually go, we get new tires, and have a better situation now with that car. But man, what an illustration of the problems in so many of our marriages. When you think about marriage, and you think about these slow leaks, this is where I want you to go today with me in this conversation. Your tires don't just blow up overnight when there wasn't a problem before. There are slow leaks that lead to where if you don't address the problem, you eventually could get like we were, and we're stranded on the side of the road and we've got big problems. And it's a great analogy of where marriages are at today. Many marriages have exploded. The problem came out of nowhere, it feels like, to other people, but there have been slow leaks along the way where the damage has been done and the root issue was never attended to. And so with that in mind, I want to talk about these slow leaks. I want to look at five slow leaks, or five habits that become problems later if we don't learn to address them. And the first one is this. The first leak is when men are mentally distracted. This is an issue for many of us where I think we are physically present in our marriages, but our minds are truly somewhere else. It's this idea that, like, I'll give you an example where at the time of this recording, my life is crazy. We're just coming out of the holiday season. I have changes at work that are about to come that are going to be big changes. So I have a lot in my mind right now between work and the holidays. I had a daughter that's recently married and she's not living here anymore. So there's just change going on. There was like a 2 or 3 week period where I was just sick. I told you about my daughter's car. At the same time I drive, I go to a gas station shortly after this situation with the other car. I'd take my truck, I park it, get gas, truck won't start. Long story is it has to get towed. I had paid for a starter to get fixed earlier in the year. That starter was no good, just stopped working completely. So I have to get my my truck towed. Sorry. I had to go through all this stuff. Financial problems. Now we spent thousands of dollars in the last couple months on vehicle issues and life, right? Life happens. And mentally, it's so easy for men to check out. It's so easy to have our mind in so many different places. And we're physically there. We're married, but we're mentally somewhere different. It's super easy to be distracted and to bring that home into your marriage. And here's the thing that I guess the slow leak that I want you to think about today. When your wife feels like you can't come to her with those issues, she begins to wonder why. And she begins to wonder why you don't count on her. She begins to think that maybe there's something wrong with her, or if nothing else, she senses that you're not there, and it creates this distrust, or it makes her think that she doesn't have what she needs to be the helper that God has placed her in your life to be. And I just want you to think about what it might be like from her perspective when she senses that you are physically present but mentally distracted. And it may not even be that you're mentally cheating on her or, that it's a terribly negative thing, but that you're just not fully with her, right? That you guys are not connected. And that disconnect is felt in a different kind of way for a woman. And I want you just to think about that slow leak today. That when you take this distraction that's in your life and your mind is always somewhere different, what does that feel like for her? And so I just want you to think about being present. I want you to think about how this slow leak can lead to big problems down the road. I want you to think about like practical ways that you can truly just be present, that you can listen attentively, that you can look her in the eyes, hold her hand, spend time with her, let her know what's going on, learning to communicate even through these things to say, look, I don't need you to fix anything, but I just kind of want you to know what's happening. I know I haven't been mentally there. I've got this on my mind and this, and I just want you to know, like, I'm good, but this is what's happening. That could go so far to patch up or deal with that leak. The second leak that I was thinking of today was this idea of communicating, and I just had mentioned that to you about this idea of just communicating out loud with her. But what many of us do instead, this is the slow leak, is that we know there's stuff going on, this distraction that we just talked about, just our lives are busy and we don't want to put that burden on her. And so what do? We don't communicate at all. We simply avoid communication, or we avoid things that feel like conflict, or we avoid things that feel like they might be too emotional, right? We don't want an emotional response. We just want to just deal with this stuff on our own and move on. And in general, right, like men we don't want to feel weak. And it feels like when we have to communicate in some way, it's like it stirs something up in us, emotions that we don't want to deal with. And so it's easier for us to retreat to our cave, either a physical man cave that you've heard about. Sometimes it's in the barn. Sometimes it's out in the garage. Sometimes it's in the basement. It's this place where you can go and just check out. Now, there might be times, fellas, where like checking out is totally appropriate. But there are many times that we retreat to this cave emotionally and we never come out. This is the slow leak that I'm talking about today. Like, you are keeping her in your marriage away from this. And I think for many of us, I think it comes from a good place sometimes. Meaning this, I think many of us think, I don't need her to worry about me. I'm good. I can handle this. This is just, if I do this, it's going to add more stress to my family. But I want you to be very cognizant of this. I want you to be very cautious of that. Your escape might be thought of differently from her vantage point than you think. She might think and interpret it that you're escaping from her. And in many ways, you might be, right? It might just be that you just want to escape from her, from anything that might be emotional or connected to whatever issues you're dealing with. But I just want to tell you, like, this slow leak of not communicating well, of shutting down or moving into your man cave, it might be necessary for a moment, but it's not good. It's a slow leak that could lead to problems down the road. And so I just want you to pay attention. What's bubbling underneath the surface in your thoughts? What's going on in your heart and in your mind? Let her know. If nothing else, just learn to say, hey, I just want you to know that these are all the things on my mind. These are some of the things that are like stressing me out. And again, like, I don't really want to chat a lot. I don't necessarily want you to worry about it, but I don't want you to think that I'm disconnecting or trying to escape you. I so appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. And sometimes just having you right there, that's all I really need. If you could just communicate something like that to her, it would go so far from keeping a problem that really, again, is trying to just not burden her with, that your lack of communication becomes a burden to her. And now you've got two problems, all the stuff you're dealing with mentally and emotionally, and now a wife that feels disconnected from you. So check in with her every once in a while, right? If you need to retreat to recoup and get right, do that. Get right, but then get back into your marriage. Get connected with her. If it's a hard conversation that needs to be had and it deals with your wife, then you need to go address that too. Don't walk away or stay in the cave when it comes to hard conversations. The quicker it gets done, the better it will be. In fact, just think back. How many times in your life have you avoided a conversation or communication of some kind because you're just like, I just don't want to deal with it? But it's that slow leak problem. It's that tire that blows up later, and you're like, golly, now I've got a huge problem. Why? Because the slow leak doesn't just fix itself, right? Protect it. Protect your marriage before that slow leak becomes a bigger problem. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break from the show to share with you 3 things that I think could help you to become more of the man that God meant for you to be: a better husband, a better father, and a better follower of Jesus Christ. 3 things, totally free, that I think can help you. Number 1 is our podcast. Hit the subscribe button, share them with a friend. That makes a big difference, not only in your life, but in somebody else that you care about as well. And it helps us to reach more men. Number 2, we do a free weekly newsletter that is short, it's concise, it deals with just one key question and then 3 simple action items each week that will help you to get in the fight in a really practical way. You can find that at getinthefight.club/newsletter. And then lastly, you can join our Fight Club community. This is a free private app for Christian men only, where you can talk to guys and get involved with guys' lives from all around the world who are just like you, trying to get in the fight to be better men for Christ. You get things like daily devos, weekly challenges, monthly gatherings, small groups, so much more. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but exclusively for Christian men, and it's totally awesome, and it's totally free. getinthefight.club/join and check it out. Get more today. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, get our newsletter, get involved in our Fight Club. Totally free things to help you to get in the fight and win today. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Back to the show. Leak number 3, letting lust lead your life. For many men, it's pornography. The stats are unbelievable. I have a program called Quit Porn for Good that you should check out. You can go to getinthefight.club and look up the courses or coaching that I do on that. I'm a certified sexual addiction recovery coach. And so I deal with that a lot. My story deals with this, unfortunately. But for many, it's porn. For others, though, it's not. And it's wandering eyes. For others, it's this secret life in your mind. It's this fantasy land that you live in. It's like daydreaming about other women. It's sometimes flirting with other women. You like the attention. Maybe you're in a position of power at work and these people have to suck up to you a little bit because you're a boss and you like the attention. And so you go out of your way to take advantage of that in some kind of way. Because in your mind, you're thinking about her. You're thinking about this other woman. Your mind is disconnected from your wife, right? For some of you, it's social media. For some of you, it's just, again, even if it's not pornography, it's you're looking at things that are arousing you, that are tempting you, that are pulling you away from God and pulling you away from your wife. You have to be honest in this. And if you're letting lust lead, this is a leak that can lead to huge problems, big blow-ups down the road. In fact, many of, again, as a person that lives in Michigan, my favorite team is the University of Michigan. And our football coach, former now football coach, has a story that went national because he is a married man, the head of a football program, the football program, winningest program of all time. Anyways, I digress. He has this unbelievable opportunity, 39 years old. He's got a beautiful family, a 6-month-old little girl and 2 twin girls who are 3 years old. And his story is like so many other stories when lust leads the way, when the leaks of whatever it was, whatever his leaks were, never were addressed along the way. They never got taken care of. They never got patched up. They never got replaced and got new tires. They never got dealt with. Guess what happened? It blew up in this biggest, scandalous, most public way possible. And it ruined his career, may ruin his marriage, certainly devastated many people's lives. He threw away this incredible opportunity. How did he get there? It didn't happen overnight. The blow up didn't just happen. There were slow leaks all along the way. How many stories like his have you heard inside the church world too? Pastors, leaders, prominent people where you go, holy cow, they just threw it all away. What were they thinking? What were they doing? Here's the thing. Lust is leading the way, and it will destroy you later. Man, we have to deal with that. As men, we have to deal with this. Where in your life is lust leaking in your life? Where do you think it'll go? Do you think that somehow you can just avoid dealing with this and it's going to just get fixed? Do you think that you can just play around with this leaky tire and it's not going to blow up? Do you think that it's not going to be a problem for you? Do you think somehow you're going to get to avoid the consequence and the pain that's going to come if this doesn't get addressed? My guess is you would say no. My answer would be, no, I've got this. I can handle this. This isn't really big. I'm not cheating on my wife like he was. I'm not doing those things. I would never. Guess what? He said the same thing. They all do. And we are fooling ourselves if we think that this leak of lust is something that we can avoid the blowout. And just know this, like you can't. Nothing will destroy you faster than lust leaking in your life. You must be honest. You must get accountability software on your phone if you need it. Go through the Quit Porn for Good program or coaching that we have for you at getinthefight.club. But get help. Go somewhere. Get help before it blows up. That leaky tire of lust leading the way is going to destroy you. And use this opportunity to patch it up. Replace that tire. Do whatever it takes. How about this for leak number 4? In our marriages, we start to, as men, to prioritize comfort over leading. And man, we are, just speaking for me, of course, I can't speak for you, I have no idea. But I can guess for most of us, we hate being uncomfortable. We hate having to deal with hard things. We want a perfect temperature at all times. We want perfect circumstances. We want no rough rides. We want everything to be just comfort, ease, right? But men are called to be disciplined. Men are called to be strong. Men are called to lead their marriages in the way that Christ did. What did Christ do? He put himself on a cross for his bride. And that is the calling. And yet many of us have simply become creatures of habit. We want the easiest way, and we don't want to deal with hard things. But I just want you to know, if there are hard things in your marriage that you need to address, then you need to address those hard things today. If there are painful things that you need to address, it's going to be hard. If you're dealing with marriage conflicts and you're going, Nate, you just don't understand. This has been going on for years. I'm just telling you, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be messy. I know that taking up a cross in your marriage and leading your way out of it is going to feel impossible. I know it's going to be the toughest thing that you've ever done. But here's the thing. It's tough to do those things. It's hard to address those things. It's messy. But it is disastrous if you let it go. If you pretend that this leaky issue in your life that's been there for so long, if you pretend like it's not going to blow up, then you are just fooling yourself. The leaks don't just fill in on their own. They don't just patch themselves up. And here's what happens many times. When a man refuses to lead, his wife starts to go, I guess I'm going to have to. And she's right. If you won't do your job, and there are others in your family, somebody has to lead the way. And this is what we've watched happen so many times. A woman feels like she has to lead because her husband refuses to, and she resents him for it. It's a terrible situation for a woman to be in when you won't do your job. You are the one that is called to lead the way. You are the one that needs to make it happen. It is your job to address what's broken. It is your job to be the first one to move. And what happens is many of us go, yeah, but it's her fault, or it's this, or it's that. And listen, I'm just telling you this, ownership as man of the house is what you and I need to do. And again, I'm preaching to me. If you're taking this like I'm pointing fingers at you, you don't really understand clearly what's happening in my mind. I'm thinking to me first, but I want you to address you because only you really know this. The things that you might be pushing back against, I just want you to just kind of put those to the side for a second. It's just me and you chatting together. Your wife's not here. She's not listening to this. It's just me and you. What I would tell you is you have to get to the spot where you say, I am the husband. I am the man of the house. And God has called me to lead the way. And even if I have to start completely over in this marriage, I will not abandon it, but I will take up my cross and do whatever it takes to get things right. Now, again, in your own strength, you can't fix something like that's deeply broken and hurt. But a man that submits to Christ and fully leads the way and takes ownership has the opportunity to fix the leak. What I would suggest to you is that you just start small. Start to address it with your wife and just be honest and just say, I haven't been there. I haven't done the things that I'm supposed to do. I haven't led the way like God has called me to do. And I apologize. And I want to repent of that. I want to say I'm sorry for that. I want to be better than that. How can I do that? What do you need from me? How do we fix this leak? How do we deal with this issue? How do we become great in this marriage that God has given us? Step into the discomfort, not away from it. Don't abandon it. Don't go to that man cave again, but address it. And in fact, what I would tell you is get around godly men. Get around other guys who want to be great, who are obviously all of us broken. All of us have so much to work on, right? But men who don't use that as the excuse to not fight. Get around men who will just say, instead of like your work buddies that'll say, let's get to the bar and go flirt with some other women or flirt with danger. Get around godly men who say, you know what? I know it's hard. I'm going to pray for you and I'm here for you. Go have that hard conversation and let me know how it goes. Find you some men like that. Again, if you go to getinthefight.club, you can join our fight club. It's totally free. There's men from all over the country, all over the world that are trying to fight to be these husbands and fathers and followers of Christ that you want to be. But get around some men that way, in person, online, wherever. Both is better, right? But get around people who are fighting to be great, who want great marriages too. That's so critical. And step into that discomfort. Don't back away from it. Okay, that leak becomes a big blow up later, right? And you've only got one shot. You've only got one shot to make this marriage great. And so you got to fight for it. And it's going to suck. It's going to be painful, but it's disastrous if you don't. Last one here, leak number 5, refusing to own your mistakes. And man, this goes with what we just said so clearly. But one of the hardest things in life is owning the mess, owning the problem. One of the hardest things you could ever do is say, it's not your fault, it's mine. And she'll say, no, it's partly my fault. It takes two to tango. No, as a husband, you say, no, that's me. Do you remember in the Garden of Eden? Who ate the fruit? Eve did. So was Eve the one that made the biggest mistake? No, it was the man. Why? Because he's standing right next to her and he doesn't lead the way. The man, Adam, is the biggest problem in the garden, and he's the biggest problem in your home too. Now you might say, yeah, but you have no idea. Like, she did this and she does that and she, all this stuff, right? Your leak might just simply be that you haven't owned it and said, all right, this is the reality. Here's where we're at. What are we going to do about it? You need to man up and stop blaming, stop minimizing, stop getting defensive, right? And get really humble before your wife and before God and just say, what are we going to do? I'm going to lead. I want to do what I need to do. I want to do this right. I want to honor God in this. I want to have the best marriage we can. What do we need to do? Lead the way. If it's an apology that needs to be had, say that. And even if it's just, hey, I'm sorry that it's the way that it is. I'm sorry that our marriage has turned out this way, but I'm not going to let it stay this way. That's a good apology, and it's a good plan forward. Maybe you just say, I haven't led like I'm supposed to, and that's on me. And it's led us to this point where you feel like you've had to live like this or do this. That's on me. That's a guy that takes ownership like that and says, I'm not willing to stay here. I'm not willing to stay stuck. That's an amazing man. And I want to just pray that you and I will be men of courage, like that will own it, that will do those hard right things, right? These slow leaks that we've been talking about will blow up if you don't deal with them. So deal with the mental distraction, deal with coming home with your brain in 1,000 places, and deal with the idea that you want to shut down and not communicate. Deal with those leaks. Deal with lust that's in the way. Deal with this idea of not wanting to deal with discomfort and running away from problems, and then instead own it all. Lead the way and say, God, I want to be the husband of a great marriage, and I know you've called me to lead the way. I can't do this. I don't have this in me, but if you will lead me, I will follow. What an amazing prayer, right? What an amazing opportunity to build a great marriage. These 5 leaks, these 5 habits can destroy a man's marriage, and they've destroyed many. May it not be yours. May it not be mine, right? Now, here's my thing as we wrap up. Don't try to fix all 5. And maybe it's not even on this list today. But what is the leak that's in your life today? You probably already know what it is. You've probably been dealing with it. You've probably been avoiding it. You probably know what it is. Maybe it's one of these 5. Maybe it's something different. What I want to just ask you today is, what are you going to do about the leak? Because if you let the leak go and you just pretend that it'll be okay, a blow up is coming. And I just want to challenge you. Fix the leak. Change the tire. Do whatever it takes, right? But don't let your marriage settle for being stuck and not okay or on the brink of blowing up. Fight for your marriage today. And if you're looking for help, again, go to getinthefight.club. Check out the books, the resources, the free community, the free newsletters. Obviously, subscribe to this podcast, things that's going to just spur your mind and your heart on to be great, to fight for being the husband that you need to be, having the marriage that you want. Go to getinthefight.club and check that out. Join this fight club where you can get around godly men who are fighting the same way, right? We are here in this life, and it's a short vapor. Make it count. Make it count. Fight for a great marriage today. Fix the leaks. All right? So that's it for today. Fight for your marriage. Get in the fight. Stay committed. Submit to Christ. And I'll see you real soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today and listening to the show. Please be sure to head over to the website at getinthefight.club. And before you go, if you haven't already, please subscribe, click the like button, and leave us a positive 5-star review. It makes a huge difference whenever you do. Have a great day. Go get in the fight.